Hello, welcome to Conspiracy Classroom Radio, coming to you from the city James Brown saved, and who also lost the Braves. I'm your host, Johnny GPT. Welcome back, or if it's your first time listening, why hello. We have for you a great conspiracy tonight, so settle in, choose your sin, and let's get to it. So I've been working on a video for the past month and a half, and I still can't crack it. So this is my attempt to come at it from a different angle. The topic tonight is consciousness and its place in our reality. What does it mean to be conscious? How can we best describe our reality? And what fundamental laws do we have to follow? Some really heavy stuff. These very questions are being discussed in the most prestigious universities, by secret government think tanks, and by each and every one of us. So let's dissect what words can't describe and pose a never-ending stream of questioning, the very essence of reality and our place in it. First, though, if consciousness is how we perceive our three-dimensional reality, then a natural question must follow. What comes first? Matter, what we perceive to make up our world, or thought, the way we perceive it and our ability to mold it? The physical world is what we interact with every day. Tables feel solid. Walls don't move. Objects appear to exist exactly where we expect to find them. From this perspective, it's easy to assume that reality is fixed, that everything simply exists out there, independent of us. But, and we'll go much deeper into this later, we know that isn't entirely true. Modern physics shows us that the presence of a conscious observer plays a big role in making certain, if not definitive, all aspects of reality is tangible or measurable. But observation itself equally matters. If there is no one to experience something, does it even happen or exist? Once we accept that possibility, a deeper problem emerges. If observation plays a role in reality becoming viewable, then what exactly are we observing? Where is this information coming from? Is reality something we are discovering, or something that is being rendered through our interaction with it? These questions can be difficult to explain, especially to people just beginning their journey. So instead of jumping straight into abstract physics or philosophy, I want to break this down in a more intuitive way. We're going to start by imagining a two-dimensional existence, a world with no depth, and then slowly build upward from there, one dimension at a time. Then, hopefully, we can begin to understand how our own three-dimensional reality may not be as fixed or as complete as it appears to be. In a two-dimensional realm, there would be only four ways to maneuver and explore: forwards, backwards, and side to side. We might find that incredibly limiting, but for the inhabitants of that world, it's all they've ever known, and all they ever will know. A two-dimensional reality would be an endless plane, with perception fixed to a single horizon and no ability to perceive depth. Obstacles would still exist, of course. Barriers would still need to be navigated. Those challenges might define their entire existence. Now imagine something impossible happens. An object from our three-dimensional world somehow enters their two-dimensional realm. What would they see? Would it even register as an object at all? From a first-person perspective, a two-dimensional being would experience reality as a flat, endless horizon. No near, no far, no depth. So if a higher dimensional object intersected their world, it wouldn't appear as a solid form. It would emerge as a single point, expand into a brief distortion, stretch into a line, and then collapse back into nothing. To them, it wouldn't be an object. It would be a glitch in existence itself. This raises another strange question. What about color? Would that exist in a two-dimensional world? If color existed at all, it wouldn't cling to objects or surfaces the way it does in our world. It would belong to the plane itself, like if air was a certain color. One region of space might be tinted green, and another a brilliant red. Objects themselves wouldn't have a particular color. Instead, everything within a region would be bathed in that particular hue. Directions might be given like this. Become gray, but when you become orange, you stop. Then slide until you're red. Then green. If a three-dimensional object passed through this world, it might create a sudden flash of color. A bright point instantly becoming a line, then vanishing back into the horizon. To the inhabitant, this could easily be interpreted as a paranormal event. Because if a two-dimensional being could misunderstand a three-dimensional object so completely, what might we be misunderstanding about certain oddities or phenomena in our reality? That's why questioning if there is perceivable color in 2D space isn't ridiculous. So now, let's invert this idea. What if we are the lower dimensional beings? What would we see if something from a higher dimensional awareness interacted with our reality? Unlike our two-dimensional counterparts, who would see only a dot or a sliver, we would perceive something far stranger, an object that changes shape, color, density, and location, sometimes all at once in a blink of an eye. Sometimes one aspect of that is only viewable at a time. Suddenly, manipulation of our reality no longer sounds impossible, and this event sounds strangely familiar. But if reality is something that can be altered, then what's its purpose? If each dimension exists as its own eternally consistent reality, stacked atop one another with minimal interference, then reality itself begins to look less like solid matter and more like a system of patterns, rules, and probabilities. This removes reality from a strictly matter-first framework and places it into something far more abstract, even esoteric. A reality in which the conscious experiencer may have far more influence than we've been taught to believe. Escape, you might ask. But escape to where? And why would we want to leave a reality seemingly designed for us in every conceivable way? Maybe escape isn't the right word. Maybe what's happening is closer to graduation, a type of growth, an expansion of ourselves. Everything in nature follows this pattern. A seed is chosen. It germinates. It's planted. Roots take hold. It sheds its outer shell and begins reaching upwards. For some of the most robust plants on earth, that's all that happens in a single season. Then winter comes. Leaves fall. Growth appears to stop. But underground, what was laid down in spring, in summer, continues to strengthen. When the next cycle begins, the plant reaches higher than before. I think we are no different. Death, in fact, may be our winter. Everything we learned, everything we failed at, our capacity to love and be loved becomes the foundation for the next cycle, our next beginning. If this is true, then consciousness cannot be localized. It can't be generated solely by the brain. It must be received. This is also what Thomas Campbell proposes, that consciousness is fundamental, and reality is the data stream through which it experiences itself. According to Thomas Campbell, author of My Big Toe, which is an awesome title. It stands for Theory of Everything. My Big Theory of Everything. Thomas Campbell, consciousness is fundamental. Reality is a rendered information system, and our purpose is the evolution of awareness itself. We don't live in a completely fixed reality, but in one that is conditionally realized through interaction with consciousness. Before something is directly observed, before reality is actually rendered, the system operates in a probabilistic state. All possible outcomes exist as likelihoods, constrained by statistical rules and underlying laws. In that sense, reality remains flexible until it is made definite through interaction. This probabilistic foundation is the base layer of the system itself. It helps resolve long-standing paradoxes in quantum mechanics by placing consciousness not as a passive observer, but as an active participant in how reality becomes tangible and measurable. So let's pause here. I have to stop. Up to this point, we haven't talked about who's in control, the hidden systems, and the hidden knowledge, who's responsible for the smokescreen. We didn't even get to out-of-body experiences or anything coming out of our body, which is the best. And it's the best for a reason, which is important to this discussion, believe it or not. Hopefully I got you to think about the very fabric things are made of. And depending on where you're at, hopefully you can start connecting different interests, different stories, especially myths, which were created to explain this stuff. Then when you start getting close, you can totally see why such allegories were made by these ancient myth makers. I love this stuff. I love the puzzle. We're built to learn and to call bullshit. And there's so much cool shit out there. You know, fact of the matter, this is a slog. You need drugs to get through this, which is what a lot of these people did to come up with these theories. I'm just not there yet. It's tough. But if I don't try to make videos like this, then I won't succeed. I'll just stay where I'm at, and I'm constantly trying to get better. I don't know. I digress. I was trying to make this whole video, and I had to stop. I got a lot of cool animations and stuff planned, but I'm gonna keep going. All right. I'll leave you with this. Far better it is to dare mighty things, to win glorious triumphs, even though checkered by failure, than to rank with those poor spirits who neither enjoy nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows not victory nor defeat. Good night.
I try so hard. Unless you're really invested, it can be boring.
I know. You try. You put a lot of effort in.
Thanks, man. I needed to hear that.